Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Monday Night Inking. I'm gonna try to keep this in frame as much as I can. It's sort of a larger layout compared to my normal closer stuff. But I'm gonna wait till I get a couple of people watching, and I'm gonna work on the spatter for this swarm of nano machines. We're going to have sort of sweeping around here, 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 and through here. So it's going to be, since these are all on white, it's going to be just black spatter. If there was, I'll probably throw in some white. Well, I will be throwing in some white for the snow anyway, but specifically for the nanites, it's just going to stick to black. So let's see, we've got some people on here. So I'm going to choose the right one of these. Select out of my toothbrushes here. This one has some pretty good snap. I have a whole bunch down here of old toothbrushes. They're all kind of different kinds, so they all sort of do different things. And I'm going to get this a little bit wet with water. Actually, no, just a tiny bit wet with water. How much water you have on it to begin with will have a lot of effect on how juicy the spatter is. If you want like a dry sort of sandy spatter, you don't put any water and just ink. And if you want like a juicier spatter like blood or something, you put a lot of water and ink. For example, actually, here's a really good example. They are under here. Well, I'll show that next. I won't take these off afterwards. Now, you missed all the fun stuff where I was just covering everything up, masking it for the spatter. All right, so take my dropper. That's a good amount of water on there. Gonna drip some on here. And I'm pretty much just I'm gonna test it here. That's good, perfect. Now, as you can see, a lot of this has already been hand-drawn, but to really get that proper organic feeling, you want to come in with spatter. My hand is completely covering everything, isn't it? 1 second. Get a real close-up view. There you go. Those are some nice bigger ones for the foreground. And I may come back in there with brush or something, or with the pen and supplement that. So some lighter ones over here. And how you scratch the brush has a lot to do with it as well, or the toothbrush. You get sort of a smaller spatter with just sort of itching it lightly. Oh, here, I'm out of frame, sorry. Just lightly itching it. Get nice small spatter. And if you're close enough, you can control pretty decently where it goes. And whatever goes where I don't want it to, it's easy enough to come back and pull that back out with white afterwards. Sorry, I feel like I'm being really lethargic. I had a kind of crazy day. It was a really good day. It was very productive. But this weekend was a little bit crazy with car trouble and stuff, so I'm just sort of idling low. Yeah, and you just build it up gradually. See, and then you really got some distinct columns of these little guys swarming around. Fill that in a little bit. They're going to be darker where the swarm is wider, essentially. I think I will come back with some white and spot some white on there. So we got our 3 swarms over here. Oh, Bill's in the stream. Hello. All right. And so are a bunch of other people. Sorry, I'm not meaning to neglect you. This is much more eyes-on work. Let's see what's going to work here. And some of these are just going to plain be too big or too sloppy or whatever, and I can come back and clean them out. It is a very weird kind of tired that your thumb gets after a lot of this. I'm starting to feel it. All right, how's that look? I want this loop here to be a little more distinctive. Just come around that corner, little guy. Oh, that was a bit much. I can deal with it. Okay, so I've got 3 swarms. A little bit more over here, maybe. And there's that. Now I think, no, that's fine for now. That's enough of the black spatter. We're also going to need to do snow that will really only show up if it hits line art or patches of shadow like this. But for now, I think it's safe to take these masks off. There we go, that worked. Everything's still a bit wet, and that's fine as long as I don't touch it. Oh, but we can talk about that thing I put off before. For the different kinds of spatter. Hold on. I have a whole side box here that's just all like scrap paper and half-used tape. I just reuse all this stuff. Okay, so with a light on this angle, you can see for both snow and atmospheric perspective to sort of fade these mountains because they're far away. I put a very dry spatter on these guys, which means I just took the toothbrush, put white ink on it, and spattered it. I didn't put any water or anything, so it comes out very dry and sandy like this. It's a very fine spray, and it has a nice distancing effect. And for this heavier spatter, for the snow, I went back over with a brush that was already more wet. So you get these larger sort of snowflake pieces. And here you can see a similar thing, white spatter on top of the black area to finish the nanite swarms coming out of this shape. So that's sort of an overview of kind of what I did here. Get these off of him as well. And since the snow is on top of him, obviously, because he's present in the scene, we don't need to cover him for the snow effect. Oops, sorry. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we got that going. Tilt this a little more. I'm gonna move this, it's starting to fall. I need a new phone arm, you guys. This one's getting old and tired. So one thing after another. All right, I'm gonna get the white. Let's see, there's a different brush I like to use for snow. It's this flat one. For whatever reason, this flat toothbrush works a lot better for that. So I'm gonna put some water on it. I want this one real juicy because this is for the big snowflakes. Oh, you know what? Normally I would have covered the panel borders, but it's easy enough to go back over them. I will cover this though, because I don't want it encroaching up on there. Sorry again. You've discovered that the shelf where I keep my paper scraps is also the one that I attach my phone to. So let's see here. That should do it just fine. Just don't, well, a little bit more. Just don't mess up my panel borders. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna get my white, got my very wet toothbrush here. Dribble some white on there. All right, here it is. So it goes on looking like that. I just kind of work it in. Test it up here. That's not wet enough. A little more paint. I don't know if that means a little more water. Probably a little more water. Okay, sorry about that. All right, looks like we're back. And let me put some snow spatter. Just a little effect of being out in the snow makes all the difference. There, looks all snowy now. And let's see, clean this off. Okay. So that's a lot of just wet standing ink. So what I'm gonna do is put this aside and let it dry, and I'll work on something else for a while. Hopefully keep you guys entertained, because there are not a lot of people in the stream right now. I guess you didn't find that interesting, but that's okay. I try to touch on some of everything. Okay. Go. Sorry, a lot of technical difficulties right now. I did, however, have a very productive day. I thumbnailed a significant commission, as you'll see in my daily work report a little later on. Made good progress on that. Had an adventure with or a misadventure with the tires I ordered. But they're finally in, and I get to go get them on Thursday so I can drive again. Trouble with. It works now, but the leftover stink of knowing I had trouble with it stays with it forever. You know how that is? Like when you do something badly, even when you get it right, you can't look at it without remembering how much you messed it up the first couple times. I think that probably applies just to life in general. I didn't realize how tired I was. I'm acting really zen today, guys. We're just gonna roll with it. Coming from over there. I was very happy with how the face turned out, even though, you can't see the whole thing, which is part of why it's easy to be happy with it. Let's see. go. I finished getting these patches on the jumpsuit pants. And I was very happy with the torso twist going on here. Sort of this, you know, this specific gesture of like turning her over. Like the torso is going to move and the hips aren't going to move that much. So I had to figure out what all the fabric was doing in there. Let's see. That side is towards the light. That side is going to have more shadow. And I put the stitches on as well in a minute. There we go. All right, let me do these ones and I'll put the stitches in. Nobody said a word in the chat yet, I don't think. Look at that. Oh, we're all having a quiet evening. That's good. Okay. A Firehawk just says mesmerized. That's a pretty good reason. I guess I'll take that one. I never know what's interesting, you know? People always act like the idea of ink splatter and how you use it is interesting, but then I'll do it like on a live stream or a video and nobody seems that interested. So, you know, I'm never sure. It can be hard to gauge that from the other side of the drawing table, I guess, from the other side of the camera, from behind the camera. I did have fun with this helmet design and jumpsuit. And it's nothing special, you know, it's pretty basic, but I thought it was fun. Jumpsuits being all one piece, the way they wrinkle and tug is different than just like normal shirt and pants, or even something else that's full piece like a dress, because it's more fitted all over. So even things you do, you know, even movements of the leg can affect wrinkles as far up as the, you know, as the shoulder or something. So you got to think about all those in a very different way, and it can be an interesting change of pace when it comes to handling garments and clothing folds. I do genuinely love this panel, though. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. And see, from the spatter, that's why my thumb always looks like this. Always. It's a badge of honor. Okay, we got that working for us. Let me finish laying in his arm here so that we know exactly where everything is. It's a little non-committal location on these pencils, so I'm going to have to do some thinking. And he obviously is in the foreground, so as the line gets closer, it's got to get heavier. Good and heavy up here. Oh, that was a little sloppy. All right. Let's get around his head as well. Just so we're clear on where everything is. Strong line weights, but also hair. You got to find your compromise there. To get pretty light under there, because the idea is that these panels floating around him are generating heat, so there would be a sort of a glow under there, and I may come back in there and do a tiny bit of white spatter to sort of communicate that, but for now I'm just worrying about these containment lines. Zoop. That's sloppy. That's good enough for now. I can always come back later and fix that. Okay, let me finish getting his collar in here. That's technically containment. Okay. And I'm going to do this ear so that I can do this shadow, because that shadow is going to be fun to see. Drawford joined, and Drawford says, crazy clean lines. Thank you. We're just having a very chill, casual inking time today. I think everyone, along with me, is also just feeling very sort of drowsy. All right. Not going to get distracted by hair right now. Don't need to do that. Glover RP, do you find that heavily caffeinated beverages are contradicted when you do some fine lines? I mean, basically, I quit caffeine a while ago, but it depends on how your body processes it. I know plenty of people who can't, who find caffeine very advantageous to their process. And some that can't use it at all. I remember before when I was on caffeine regularly, when you're on it regularly, it's a dependency. So you do sort of need it. And I would find I needed it kind of for a steady hand. But if I weren't used to it, say, it would cause more shakes. So, it really depends what your body is accustomed to. I don't really know anymore because I don't drink caffeine anymore, but It really depends. It's case by case, just like so many other things. Drawford says, I always enjoy watching your progress posts. Thank you. I appreciate that. They are fun to do. It's just most of the time it's just out of boredom, to be honest. It can get very, very slow and repetitive, and it's kind of lonely work, just, drawing by yourself all day. So I like looping people in where I can. And people seem to like to know what's going on and how the process works. All right, what else am I doing right here? I got all my containment. Actually, I got to fill in the containment down here. And pretty soon, we can go back to, oh, that's all wet. I don't want to go through there. Pretty soon, we can go back to the spatter page and see how it's doing. Feels like a cooking show, like I have two things going at once, and I previously prepared a page. I wish. Glover says, I'm drinking enough caffeine for the group. Got you covered. Well, thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you. And Drawford says, do you pencil your work too? Indeed I do. I got the pencils for this piece right here on the side because I like to check them while I work. Before and after. This page, for some reason, I normally scan these at a very high resolution, but this page, for some reason, I scanned at a very low resolution for some reason. I don't understand why that happened. So they're very soft on there, as opposed to like, another ink. You have another ink page here? Oh, right. It's the one I was just talking about. Oh, there's nothing blue on there. Never mind. Normally they're much sharper than that, is basically what I'm saying. Okay, I think we're good for now. Actually, let me get the outside of the hand and the rest of the arm there, just to get that out of the way. This line on his face is working really well. The jaw shadow's good. That's those studies kicking in right here that I knew how to do that. It's working, you guys. All right, it's outside of the hand. Sharpen that up. There we are. So there's going to be some shadow in there, obviously. Well, let me get the leg. This is much further away, so it can be lighter. But this line, obviously, is not as heavy as it's going to be. We'll get there, though. It's easy to add to a line. Not as easy to take away. Okay. What do I want to do? Real quick, I'm going to put these shadows in because these will be fun. They'll really make the hand pop. I love this snow surface that she's lying on because you get really fun shadows. Not this one. I'll do this one. Gatzart says Master of Ink. I don't know who you're referring to, but I'm sure wherever they are, they're grateful. I may halo him. He's far enough forward that I may end up doing that, but that's easy enough to come back in and do with the Posca marker. Maybe round those off a little bit so they read a little bit better. And inside the palm here. This hand still needs some decent line work bulking up. Although, I don't know. It's facing the light here, so maybe not. Carefully in here. All right, that's working for now. Could use a little nuance, but the nuance comes towards the end. So that's what I got here so far. I'll worry about that later because I need to render the sleeve there. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go back to the spatter page and see what we can do to sort of finalize that. Let's take this off. It's looking good. Got some smudging going on over here. Where's my eraser? Eraser! Eraser! Hang on. Where are you? There it is. I found it. Keep saying it's gonna run away, but it never gets very far. Clean some of this out. All right, so stepping back, looking at this. Oh, Andrew J. Brown is in. Hello, hello. Oh, dude, I meant to tell you, I can't, I think I'm not going to be able to ship your thing until tomorrow, just because of, sorry, I had a little battery alert there for a second. But I will get it out to you soon. It just won't be at its normal speed. Okay, what are we doing here? Well, first of all, let me put the border back in. The snow does not exceed the borders. Normally I would have done more taping here, but I was impatient to get to it because y'all were watching. Ugh, it's a mess. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out any of these little guys that are unnecessary. Ugh, that's a mess. It's supposed to be dry. Get the different one. The pointy one might work better. Come on, you. And just sort of go back and break up some of these ones that are too big or weird shapes that aren't really conducive. Ugh, seriously? See, this is a problem when you get black on it, if it's not dry enough. There we go. Okay. And sort of just poke in through here. I thought I was going to hate this when I first read the script. You know, drawing a million little nanobots. And I knew it would come down to spatter. Like, that's what it would be. That would be the way to accomplish that effect. But it was still, you know, it sounded so intensive. But honestly, I've kind of enjoyed it. It's very painterly. You get to just build and add and subtract and build again. Just sort of zone out and put a whole bunch of dots. Appropriate for our zoned out stream tonight. But the snow spatter is working nicely, especially when the inks are treated. Just these little spots, just these little chunks, you know, taken out of the solid inks will really start to read as snow. I messed this right up. Look at that, I jacked that up. So sloppy. Biggest slob. All right, so I'm going to come back in with, let's see, what size? A big old Pitt pen. That's good. And a few more hand-drawn ones. That's not very juicy. Hold on, let me find a different pen. Oh, Andrew's asking a question. Oh, what's that ink you use that's supposed to be really black? Is it Delator or something like that? I mean, it's not exceptionally black, but it's very smooth. It is the Delator. If I can get this to focus. Hold on. The Delator number 3 black. You can get this on Jet Pens, I believe, or Amazon. Do Jet Pens, though. They need your support. What was I doing? Oh, I was getting a different pen. We're just adding dots in here. All right, let's see. I want to build this up. Sort of a spot there. And this is now officially the boring part of the stream. Don't expect a lot of you to stick around, but I'll probably wrap it up soon. This is sort of the refinement process where I make sure all the originally intended shape of the swarm remains intact. You can still see, you probably can't, but I still can see just the lines that I put in the pencils. Where's the pencils for this one? Yeah, you can see here in the pencils, like literally this is all I did to indicate where they would be. But there's these distinct shapes with a lot of flow to them. So I'm sort of just trying to fill in the edges of that shape and maintain it without it getting lost in the more organic spatter. Andrew says, gotcha. I like going really black. Heck yeah. That always helps with the final treatment process too anyway. This is a pretty good heavy black though, the Delator. But I don't use that. I only really use that for nib nowadays. Because if I have dry brush to do, I use FW, because that's a much heavier ink. That's good for rough dry brushing. That devolved into pointillism here. Oh, we need more over here for sure. Sorry, my phone keeps falling asleep. I figured out that it falls asleep when I am on low battery mode. And I could be a lot better at just making sure it was fully charged before stream, but, you know, I use it all day on Monday, just like I use it all day any day, so I could still be better about it. That's not really an excuse. Well, Mr. Space Friend Z, you caught me on a very boring stream, sir. Although I did do this spatter earlier. More clouds of nanobots in all their glory, swooping around. And then I went back over for the snow. And now I'm just fine-tuning this. I'm boring all my viewers. Glover says, looks great, having Rorschach test moments looking at the splatter dots. Yeah, I mean, worse things could be happening, I suppose. I don't know what I meant by that, but theoretically, it's always true, right? All right, I think this one is pretty good. It's some more big ones here. It's mostly spatter, but... Oh, Andrew says, oh, come on, I like seeing splatter inks. Well, thank you. This is a lighter swarm over here, but let me just get that shape filled in. The organic is great, but I want to fine-tune this. Most of art is in the last 5 or 10%. When you're just fiddling with what you already have. It's really tempting to rush at that point, but that's when it, Zach. Zach says, one more dot. You came this far, Clara. I'm going to put in plenty of dots. Just for that, I'm going to put in so many dots. But yeah, the last 5 to 10% of a page, of really any project, is where the real finesse happens. And that's when it's most tempting to rush or go too fast or get sloppy with it. All right, this is probably dry now, I think. Let me see. There we go. Zach, I got the big one as well, because I've been using only the fine point one, and I got the foam tip one, and I don't like it nearly as much. It picks up too much black. Well, I guess I'll ask you afterwards about that, but it's so hard to keep clean. I might just be impatient. I rushed to using it before my inks are dry. And a little more shape over here. Aw, Zach says it's looking great. I'm very proud of this panel, Zach. I don't usually get to do big face. This is a very large face for me, as you probably know. But look, I did the line thinning for the light and everything. Oh, Andrew says, man, I can't wait for you and PG-13 Zach to stream again. We tried this past week. I seriously considered being on that stream where he did the turtle rain, where he did the rain on his TMNT commission, but that was a very full day for me. Had my heart broken by my mechanic shop. So yeah, but we'll do it soon, I promise. We've been trying to get to it. Zach says, woot woot. Live stream team. You can't stop us. I can't believe you all are watching me do this. This is ridiculous. I should have planned this better. All right, need a little more shape over here. There's only so much control you can get with a toothbrush. Actually, on this project, doing shapes like this, I have learned actually a lot more about how to control the toothbrush, not just like the levels of wetness and what they accomplish, but the, the angle and the different ways of scraping it or scratching it, as I've been calling it, accomplishes really different effects. Just the difference between this spatter and the snow. Hand's going to be a particular kind of tired after this. This is a very different muscle usage than just like brush inking. Off to draw more tentacles. Keep melting brains, Clara. Thank you, Zach. Go make some awesome monster drawings. Jealous of your monster drawings right now. I want to draw monsters. All right, I want to clean out a little bit of that on his arm there. Ugh. Should really check these beforehand. Fortunately, they ultimately cover just about everything. You just have to go over it a couple of times. There we go. Just disappeared. All right, anything else I want to pull out of this shot? This is distracting. This is distracting. Proud of the hair too. The hair worked out well. These front shadows on his shirt worked out well too. Those are gonna hold the snow nicely. Gonna put a few manual ones just to make sure I don't lose it. All right, I think that's looking good. There may be some more fine tuning once I have the presence of mind that's not just live stream tension. The live stream jitters. But yeah, this is probably just about locked down as far as this whole page goes, really. Well, thank you everybody for stopping in. I know this was a bit of a short one, but I know I've been doing a lot of short ones lately. I apologize for that. It's been crazy over here, and it's all good stuff, all good stuff going on. Just a lot of work. Hopefully you all will be able to see the fruit of some of it soon. But thank you everyone for stopping in, and I will see you all next Monday.